You know, I usually film my videos in the morning, but it has been a really long, stressful day, and Edward, the lovely Patreon who requested this particular reaction, said that it would be quite the mood booster for me, so I am going to trust you and do this reaction later in the evening. I don't know if you guys realize, maybe the light's a little bit different, I don't know, but I just figured I'd let you know in case I seem more tired, or in case my energy is just a little bit different, or like I said, the lighting's a little bit off. But how rude of me not to introduce myself. For those of you that are new, I'm Amanda. Welcome to the channel where we are all about shattering the mental health stigma. If you haven't already, please make sure you make sweet, sweet love to that subscribe button. Give the bell a few kisses so you're not missing any of this content designed to help you with your mental health, or help you help someone else, or in this case, apparently help me with mine a little bit. Today, I'm going to be reacting to Thoughtless by Korn. I have listened to quite a bit of Korn, although I'm not familiar with this song, done a reaction or two on the channel, but I always love me some Jonathan Davis, so let's do this. Ooh. Well, that's poetic right now. No! Ooh. I hate it. See, chemistry class, really? Black nails. You know, I think that was kind of the perfect place to pause, right? Right there, maybe? Yeah. Mental health, Amanda. You know, I didn't plan for it to be this way with the recent news of the shootings in Texas. I didn't realize that this was going to coincide with that, so I'm sure that there's some messages to unravel there, but much like grief, trauma can also trigger the stages of different emotions, and clearly we are now in the anger stage of this person's specific process, and this is where you watch every kill count and you're just taking notes and quietly plotting against the person that's hurt you. And there is a part of that where it can be really empowering. Obviously, you want this person to suffer, and that is normal. And there's a part of it that can be empowering just because you stand up for yourself and you have the confidence to fight back. So there is a bit of this type of mindset that can be quite empowering. I don't know. What if my play button doesn't work right now, guys? Oh no, what do I do? Was he, by the way, in chemistry class? You know, doodling in chemistry class is probably why you failed Mr. White's class, Jesse, just saying. I have to make the comment on the black nails for everyone that has been here in the community for a while, but I guess he worships Babylonian gods too. Whoa, that is a little Floyd, really? That doesn't... Okay. Well, that went from empowerment to murder really quick. Not entirely unlike my brain, but I don't think the friend's dying is meant to be taken literally. I think it's more symbolic of letting friendships die when you're tangled in toxicity, like this person obviously is. You tend to let these friendships die. You tend to hide. And I saw in the notebook that he was writing, "I'm hiding." And I think that that is what is going on there. Or maybe this was part of a bigger picture where he lost friends in some kind of school tragedy, which either way is really awful. But I think that the visualization of that person, that entity trying to escape, because it's right under the skin and it's trying to escape, that was quite horrifying for me, because I've been at that place where you're trying really hard to contain your rage and you're trying to contain the feelings that you're having, but you can feel them trying to break free and you just don't want to do it. It's very painful, it's very frightening, and that was a bit traumatic to watch play out. I'm actually a survivor of bullying myself from when I was in school, and emotional abuse from when I was older in my adult years, and it's a really obviously difficult thing to navigate, especially when you're young, because there is a part of you that you're just now building your identity and it throws your identity off. Ew. You know, bullying can affect one's cortisol and testosterone levels, and those are key regulators for social aggression, because science bitch. So I think that, you know, once it builds up enough, once you have had enough and it builds up and you don't find a way to cope with it in a healthy manner, then it can come out in really unhealthy ways. And I think it's kind of interesting, the visualization of the vomiting, as disgusting as it is. It's bile. You're just spewing bile, literally spewing bile all over everyone, and it's affecting everyone in the school, everyone in his vicinity. I think obviously the woman portrayed his shadow, his darkness, that demon that was trying to come out finally managed to arise and make center stage, and that was kind of brilliantly portrayed by that, because you could do it in a more violent way where he goes and shoots up the prom, but it is equally as accurate to portray this bile that's being spewed, be that physical or mental. It's only going to spread. So when somebody's bullied, it's only going to spread. You know, my preoccupation with kill counts and The Purge and Dexter and even Breaking Bad and things like that are my coping mechanism for my anger. And I remember asking my therapist one time if this was a healthy thing, if this was a healthy coping mechanism. And her response was, if it made me more apt to go act upon it, then no. But if it made me less likely to act upon it because it was giving me a way to process my anger and to cope with those difficult, uncomfortable emotions, then yes, it was a healthy coping mechanism. I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Does it help your homicidal rage, or does it flame it? I think that that's a pretty good rule of thumb when you are looking for a coping mechanism, which hopefully is not violence, which hopefully is not meth. But I do think that this was kind of really important in the cultural atmosphere right now with the shootings that just happened in Texas, that if all you're doing is perpetuating this cycle because you're hurting, so you hurt other people and you just spew your bile all over other people, then it's going to continue to grow generation to generation, year to year. These incidents are just going to continue happening because we're not addressing the core issues and we're not doing anything to help the people that are obviously suffering, and we don't know what these people go through. I never talked about it when I was bullied. I didn't tell anyone else until my parents finally found out about it and tried to get me help, but even that didn't really help because it seemed like nobody really understood, because nobody was listening to me and what I was going through, and they kept trying to project all these other things on my plate. They kept trying to say that, oh, well, it's just this and that can't actually be the core of the issues that you're having. So I felt very unheard, even when I talked to a professional. And I realize now in retrospect that if that is something that you experience, if you are trying to reach out to get professional help and you aren't successful, you can find someone else. I feel like finding the right professional is kind of like dating. There are a lot of things that have to click for that to work, and you have to find someone that will listen to you and that can understand you. I think that Edward just tried to find the absolute most Amanda video on the internet, and you succeeded. That this was Jesse and murder. So Aaron Paul and Stabby Stab, which anybody that knows me knows that I got really into Breaking Bad last year to cope with my divorce, and I, like I said, am really into things like Kill Counts and The Purge and Dexter, and things that give me a way to personify my anger in a non-violent way so that I'm not acting in any kind of violent way or I'm not lashing out on anyone. But I will say that every single person that's ever suggested any video for me to react to on this channel is immediately fired, effective immediately, for not having recommended this one to me sooner. I cannot believe that no one told me about this video or recommended this video to me. I feel like I need to shed a tear or two. But thank you so much, Edward. You're right. This was exactly what I needed. I think that we need to be having more conversations about bullying. We need to be having more empathy for the bullies that have obviously gone through something traumatic and need healing, and the people who are being bullied, instead of just calling them names or brushing them off. There needs to be a well-rounded approach to this situation, and we need to be doing our part not to add our voices to that, be it here on the internet or in real life. We have to be impeccable with our word, and we have to be using our word for the greater good instead of for tearing people down. Even if it's on the other side of a screen, those are real people. So I think that bullying is definitely an issue that needs to be addressed immediately. We cannot keep waiting for it. Otherwise, we're just going to keep having these violent events happening, these shootings, and these kids that are developing anxiety and depression because of their environment at school or at home or on their phones. I mean, bullying's never been easier, unfortunately, now that we have phones and the internet and stuff. It's quite prevalent, and it's a lot easier to hide behind a screen and do. So I just want you guys to think consciously before you respond to someone, whether it be on social media or in real life, because those words, those actions can really stick with them for life. There are certain things that I was told from my bullies that it took me a very long time to get over. And I really just think there needs to be more empathy in this world. And if you see something like this happening, this angers me because you see the people on the sidelines who are doing nothing. Evil thrives when good people do nothing. You can stand up. You can make a difference. Stand up for what's right. Stand up for the people that you see who are being mistreated. You might be the only voice they have. Thank you so much for this yummy little visual before I go to bed. I wish it would have ended on something a little more positive than Aaron Paul puking everywhere, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. I'll just rewind and go back to a few seconds of the pool and locker scene and call it a night. So again, thank you very much for thinking of me and for wanting to raise my vibes. I am so appreciative, guys. Share this video. There's so many people who need this message right now and who might need a positive message surrounding school, surrounding bullying, who might need to be empowered, who might need to know that this community is here for them if they just need somewhere to talk, if they need someone to have their back. Give it a thumbs up, and I love you guys so, so, so much. Mwah.